Next team in this season preview is Vegas Golden Knights. And Vegas has been in NHL 3 years, but we all remember the first season when they came from nothing and went all the way to the Stanley Cup finals. How do you see, Tommy? Is this Cinderella story still possible this season, or is it any more Cinderella? Are we predicting them to win all the way based on our simulations?
Not the simulations, actually. It's a bit surprising to see them only third in the Western Division, but looking behind the numbers and taking a little bit closer gander, it just shows that the two better teams in the West are only slightly better, but still a little bit better than Vegas is, in simulations at least. Of course, they took the whole league by storm after joining. Nobody expected anything out of the really mediocre team with a lot of other teams outcasts and all, but it all came together really well, and they reached the Stanley Cup Finals in the first season. So the expectations gone pretty high after that, and they were really good last season as well. Of course, then fell to Dallas Stars in the playoffs. But Vegas has shown that they are valid contenders. It was not just a fluke in the first season, so they will definitely be fighting for the Stanley Cup again this season. How about our predictions? Have we been anywhere close with the Vegas team?
Yeah, I think everybody was a bit off during the first season when they went to third in Western Conference during the regular season, collected 109 points, and actually the line before the season was 68 points. So they not doubled, but pretty close of it, the line. So the guys in Vegas books were also a bit surprised by their home team performance. But since then, we have been pretty correct. So 2 years ago, we predicted them to be sixth in Western Conference, and their regular season results were that they were seventh, and the line was 96.5 points. We predicted them to go under. They got 93 points, so that was pretty much nail on. And last season, same thing. Season that was cut short. The line for Vegas was 102.5 points. We predicted them to get 102 points, and they got out of 71 games 86 points. So with the boost that they had during the later part of the season, they won out of last 10 games 8. I think they would go very close this 102 103 points that was simulated by our machines, and same what Vegas provided. How about this new Honda West Division? What kind of teams are there? Because Vegas has been quite successful with some of these teams that haven't been performing so well during the last seasons.
Yeah, of course, the Western Division, Honda Division, is likely to be pretty lousy. So at least the bad teams there are not very good. There is definitely 3 teams that are way above the rest. So there is Colorado, St. Louis, and Vegas, then the third one. So they are probably the teams that are likely to battle for the win of that division. Of course, Minnesota might be challenging, but we don't have a lot of trust to them. And San Jose also, like we were speaking about that, they are if they play a little bit better than last season, they might be challenging as well. But definitely the 3 top teams are really good. Also in the whole NHL, quite favored to contend this season. The roster of Vegas for this season is pretty much the same. They of course got the biggest fish in the pond in the transfer market. They got Alex Pietrangelo from St. Louis. Peter DeBoer is a new coach. They changed last season after Gerard Gallant had some bad results in the beginning, so they made a quick move to Peter DeBoer, so it's a first full season for him, which is not actually a full season, but we'll see how it works. Vegas has really deep team, so they can basically run 4 lines and a little bit extra as well. So this short and very fast season might actually suit them pretty well. How about in our simulations and the statistics? How has Vegas done against these divisional opponents?
Our numbers show that they have been pretty, let's say, predictable against their divisional matchups because Arizona, Anaheim, that has been quite poor performances during the last few seasons. Vegas has won like 70-80% of those games. Then, a bit surprisingly, maybe against Los Angeles, even matchup, they have won 53% of the games, and with San Jose, 60% of the games. But then these, let's say, new teams in the West, Colorado and St. Louis, they have a 50 and 45% win record against these teams. And very surprisingly, Minnesota, they have played 8 times in these 3 seasons, and Minnesota has won 6 games out of those 8. So maybe that's just a statistical glitch, but it looks like these new 3 teams in this West, instead of Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary, would maybe generate some problems to Vegas.
Yeah, that would make sense because definitely those 3 teams are a bit better than the ones that Vegas has faced before. Like I said, Vegas got Alex Pietrangelo from the off season, biggest fish there. Their defense was already packed. It was one of the best in the league. They're definitely now a little bit better on top, but lack a little bit depth to counter that. So they had to let Nate Schmidt and John Merrill to go. They were not able to strengthen their offense, especially in the middle lane. So a little bit of controversial move to go after Pietrangelo after having one of the best defenses already in the league with Shea Theodore, Alec Martinek, Braden McNabb, Nick Holden, and Jack Whitecloud compiling like I'd say the best in the NHL defensive core already, and then you add Alex Pietrangelo, so they're way above the rest in that regard. Of course, Robin Lehner, Marc-Andre Fleury as goalkeepers can't get much better than that either. So there is a lot of veteran experience in Fleury, and then Lehner's been a breakthrough goaltender in the past seasons. So very defensively sound team. Of course, then in the offense, the center position has been an issue. Paul Stastny was there, had to let him go as well due to the restrictions in the salary cap. Number 1 centerman William Karlsson scored 75 points in the first season as an outcast from Columbus, but is not exactly a number 1 center caliber for a team like Vegas. Could be maybe in Anaheim or a team such as this, but for Vegas, definitely the difference between the center and the wings is remarkable. There is hungry wingers, Jonathan Marchessault, Riley Smith, Max Pacioretty, and Mark Stone, who all are potential 30-goal scorers, even 40 goals if everything works fine in a full season. So there is scoring threat there, but they have been a little bit stuck with the scoring, especially in the playoffs. And it's something that is a bit worrying because if they can't produce more, it will definitely not be enough to just play 0-0 all the time. So something to look for maybe if Vegas is doing any trades, they might try to get legit number 1 centerman, but those are really hard to come by via any trade. So definitely a difficult position, the center field.
How about this offense basically looks like 2 categories here. First, 2 lines guys are paid 5 to 9 million, and then last 2 ones are either some rookie contracts or just about the million. Is this some kind of problem for a team that there is not, let's say, even 4 lines like, for example, in Carolina that we reviewed previously?
Yeah, it depends a lot how better de Boer wants the team to play. I think he's used to having a little bit more defensive bottom 6, so it could work fine. But of course, taking a look at the names here, the guys are not very offensive in any way. So of course, if it happens like it has now in the past with Vegas, that their star players, the wingers, can't produce, then they're stuck, so they can't score goals. So definitely something to look at would be to add some promising, maybe faster players in the bottom 6 as well. But it's all up to the head coach to decide how to tackle this issue. Forgot to say that Cody Glass, of course, is now entering his 2nd season in NHL, so a lot of expectation there. Maybe he will be the one who will then take the number 1 centerman role, but so far it would be a little bit big step for the youngster in this sort of team like Vegas should be. Did you have any statistics of how predictions of the Vegas matches have been for us?
Yeah. So Vegas has played like better teams in NHL. They won almost 65% of their home games, over 50% of their road games, and we have actually been able to predict that pretty accurately. So there hasn't have too much expected value or positive expected value in Vegas home games, only 28%, but we nailed those with over 74% accuracy, and that generates $1,322 profit during the last 2 seasons if you followed the simulations bets. But otherwise, there's no any significant statistical differences in different games. They are quite strong home team, and if you ever visited the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, the atmosphere is one of the best in the NHL home team. So I think they would benefit that quite a bit, and also if you go to Vegas, maybe the visiting team staying one night too much there could result some poor performance for those visitors as well.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see now with a little bit of the restricted audiences, that how do they create this sort of atmosphere with if it's restricted to 5,000 or so. But if we take a look at the playoffs last season, they made a pretty good atmosphere with the virtual fans and all that. So the players were happy with that, and audiences as well. So maybe there is a little bit of home advantage after all for Vegas.
Yeah. How about odds currently from the bookmakers? Is there some value to bet Vegas to win the division or even go to the Stanley Cup?
Vegas is very highly favored here. It's second favorites to win the division. Odds are only plus 180. So not a lot of value there, especially if you take a look at our simulations, which indicate that they will be only third. So I would stay away from that. For winning the Stanley Cup, the odds are also comparatively lousy. Second smallest of all teams at plus 800. So Vegas is of course a heavy favorite by Vegas. So they are now trusting their own team a lot. But I think it's a quite accurate assumption. They will be top of the league for sure. But I don't see a lot of value at this moment. It would be maybe better to see the start of the season, and if they have a little bit slow start, there might be some live odds to take a look at then.
Yeah, we don't make bets for those teams that doesn't generate value, even though we are fans of them. So that's the basic rule of betting by winners, and we follow that throughout the NHL season this time again.
Yeah, definitely. Keep the emotions out of it and play smart.
Exactly.